Hi, I'm Keith McEvoy, founder of... Okay, time out. Hi, I'm Keith McEvoy, founder of the SuperCharge Academy and CEO of Success at Works Ltd. So today we're going to talk about team sizes. This is a question that comes up a lot. What is the best team size? And the great thing is there's actually a lot of research on this to actually help us. What's interesting is a lot of the research that's in academia land hasn't actually found its way to the workplace where me and you work. And a lot of what they've discovered has direct consequences to us. So let's break in very quickly to, first of all, there's three factors that determine what a team size should be. And the first one is really obvious, it's what exactly is the role. Some roles are very specific. They involve working with people like project teams or manufacturing lines with lots of handoffs. And basically the more involved a role is, basically the smaller a team should be, basically because you need to have more time for discussions and communications. But then on the other side is there's some roles that actually there's very little instruction, very little management involved. So you can actually train a person and leave them be. So for example, maybe cleaning a building. So you train one person to do it and away they go. But you could train 10 or 15 or 20 or 25. If you had a team of 50, they'd clean the building even quicker. But they wouldn't require that much additional motivation or that much additional oversight. So that's the first thing. The second thing is around the actual person that you want involved in it. So if the person you want, if you want a motivated team, motivation requires oversight and communication, assistance and help. So if you need a motivated and a thinking and you want to get them through change and all of that, that basically says you need a smaller team. So the smaller the team, the more time you have for communications, the more time you have for thinking. And that is why a smaller team suits that a lot better. And they're really the two factors that to first of all think about when you're thinking about what size should your team be. But within all of that, there's one overriding factor that everything else just pales into insignificance. And that is around communication. Most teams, the reason you actually have teams is to actually inspire communication and to work better as a group. And in order to work better as a group, you need to allow for bonds of communication to develop as they do naturally. But as you well know, if there's only one, you're going to talk to yourself really easily. And if there's 100, you're probably not even going to know everyone within the group. So somewhere between 1 and 100 is the right answer. And it gets even more complex than that. So if you have, see over here, I've got 3 dots. If you've just 3 people on the team, essentially you've only got 3 communications channels. 1, 2, 3. So A needs to talk to B needs to talk to C, and C needs to talk to A. So just 3. If you have 5 people, well, A needs to talk to B needs to talk to C needs to talk to D. Yeah, all the way around. But then you've got this going on. A needs to talk to C, to D, and similarly. You can start seeing that actually, as a team grows, it gets much more complex. So in this one here, we had 3 team members, and we had 3 communication channels that we had to maintain. This one here, we've got 6, but actually it's not 3 anymore. Any ideas? It's actually 15. Okay? So significant, we've doubled the team, but look, we've multiplied by 5 the amount of communication streams that have to go on and be maintained. And then, yeah, here's 10, right? Yeah, you get the picture, yeah? Very, very complex. So as you start getting up there, there's a team of 10, but now you've got 50 to actually maintain. And that's, in a nutshell, why as you grow bigger teams, that they become less efficient. So let's have a look at the science. First of all, the science says that basically, if your team is 1 to 10, okay, and there's efficiency, yeah, so performance. Well, actually, there's a very interesting thing happens. So the performance, you on your own versus 10 people, there is a difference to the amount that you as an individual happens, and this is why teams work. And the science says that basically, as you increase the team size up to about 5, the amount of work per team member, the amount of efficiency increases, and then it plateaus. So it plateaus out. And it can actually go one of two ways. Sometimes you see a slight increase, barely increase, and that is for the likes of the cleaning jobs I mentioned. But what happens quite a lot at the end is things start tailoring off. So why does that happen? Well, actually, it's a phenomenon called loafing. And there's a great experiment where they did a tug of war. So you had 5 people on one side and 5 people on the other side, pull the rope, the thing. And what they worked out was they had a pressure sensor, so they were able to work out how much on average people were pulling. And what they did was they started off with 1 and 1, and they're able to average, they're pulling quite hard, and 2 on 2, and then 3 on 3, and 4 on 4. And guess what happened? As the team increased up to 5, the more people you had, the more on average everyone was pulling in and dishing in. But the interesting thing was after 5, it started to decrease. And what was happening was basically the phenomenon that they call loafing or social loafing, which is where if you think you're not a key member, so if there's 5 people already there pulling and you're adding 6, 7, 10, 20, what happens is people start thinking, well, hang on a second, they're pulling anyway. I'll try, but I can't quite get on this, and sure, he's bigger than me. And so people start losing their place and they stop performing as well. So that's one of the big things from research that says, listen, as you increase past 5, and 5 is the magic number, past 5, not so good, okay? And it's all around the loafing and the communication. So what's pushing us though? We know, we're always told, listen, span of control, the more span of control, the better. And there is an argument to say, yeah, span of control is quite good because you get around another phenomenon that happens, which is micromanaging. So on small teams where you have a leader, the leader quite often can be overbearing. And again, the same performance, if you plot the micromanaging, and micromanaging, you're not alone. Everyone hates micromanaging because you're not allowed to go and do your job. Yeah. So by increasing the span of control, so increasing the amount of people within a team that the leader has to manage, the leader is forced to let the team operate as a team more often. And it turns out that once you get below 5 or below 6, basically, that leaders tend to start micromanaging. So teams of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are just enough to stop the leader micromanaging. So it's good to have bigger teams in that respect. And that's the other thing that pushes as well is that there's a perception, and actually it's not just perception, there's a cost to having leaders doing managing teams. They tend to be paid a little bit more. So the fewer leaders you have for the amount of team, the more efficiency, the lower your costs are, and that's a good thing for a company trying to make profits. So that's the other force that's saying keep teams bigger. So back to the science. What is the magic number? Well, actually, there is a magic number that's quoted around quite often. That magic number is 4.6. Okay, and that is the best teams work with 4.6 people. However, although that number is used widely, that number is not correct. When you actually look at it and all the new evidence that's come out about it, 4.6 is actually too low. 4.6, tell you where that came from. They asked over 2,000 people, I think it's 2,000 or 3,000 people, and they said, listen, you work in teams of between 2 and 7 people. And they asked a simple question, there are 2 questions. They said, okay, is the team you're working on, do you have too few or too many people? So that's what they did. So if I was in a team of 2 and I went, oh, actually, there aren't enough people in my team to allow me to do my job correctly. That's it, okay, so the team needs to be higher than 2. If you ask someone who's 7, do you have too many or too few? They say, there's people getting in each other's ways, the roles are unclear. I said, okay, it needs to be less than 7. But the problem is that the team wasn't, and they didn't ask anyone in the team higher than 7, so it's biased. So subsequently, there's been quite a bit of research gone out and basically to figure out what is the optimal team. And based on the communication, again, the communication is the primary driver. That you need to have this communication. If you get too big, the number of interactions, as you can see, gets overwhelming and you lose the whole benefit of having a team. So based on that, based on the science, the actual that the research comes back and says is between 4 and 9. Okay. And 4 is when, again, you've got very focused, you need a lot of management, a lot of motivation, a lot of interaction. And 9 is at the extreme end where actually maybe you've got quite a mature team that know each other well, or they're doing a task that actually doesn't involve too much coordination or interactions between the roles. And the number that you'd actually see quoted quite a lot is these magic people. They'll come up and they'll say 6. Okay, 6 is the magic number that you'll hear quoted in a lot of research. However, funny that 6 is the average between 4 and 9. So you know better. If someone tells you the magic number is 6, my team needs to be 6, you'll go, no, hang on a second. I know they'll be between 4 and 9, based on if 4 is if it's a very focused task, lots of motivation, new team members, learning, all of that, then towards the 4. Or if it's a mature team with lots of interactions that are already set, they're mature, they know what they're doing, then it can be more towards the 9. So I hope that helps. Again, a bit of research is always great, so it helps us to actually know exactly what it is that we're doing with our jobs and gives the confidence and the insight into how to make things better.